It's no secret that if you want success, you need to focus. And if you can't focus on one thing and get really good at that one thing, it's very difficult to become successful. These days, what's happening though is people are focusing less and less at the different tasks they're doing and focusing more and more on the things that are happening outside of them. A classic example is social media. You know, how many times are you logging onto Facebook every day and checking what's going on in politics, getting involved in conversations about different things that your friends are doing? It's very difficult to be able to focus when you're in an environment where you're constantly looking out there instead of looking at your own life and what you need to be doing here in order to be successful. And it's not necessarily your fault either. The fact is that no one ever tells you about how to focus. And these days, you know, there are more opportunities to lose your focus than there ever has been with the amount of technology and the amount of things that are constantly being marketed to us on a daily basis. I mean, I heard an interesting statistic the other day that the average person daily has to make up to 35,000 decisions. It's very difficult to focus when you're having to make those many decisions. You know, am I going to do this? Am I going to go to this website? Am I going to click on this ad? You know, 35,000 decisions that you need to make on a daily basis, whether you will act or not, based on what is popping up on the internet, what's popping up on your phone, or what you're doing in your day-to-day life. And the decisions that we make on a daily basis are often driven by emotion and then justified by logic, which means that if you're looking on social media and you see something that gets you emotionally, it might be something relating to your family, it might be something relating to politics, then it's very easy to slip into that trap of suddenly going ahead and posting something, suddenly getting involved in that conversation and losing track of what it is you're doing, and again looking out there at what's happening in the world and becoming an expert over what your friends are saying, but not an expert in the skill that you've chosen to become an expert in. And focus on what the tasks are that you need to be doing in order to move your business forward and you forward as well. But the fact is that it's really a trap. And the knowledge that you need in order to succeed in your business and the focus you need is far less knowledge than you probably need in order to comment on social media and sound really good on there or look really good commenting and posting about what's happening in the world in front of your friends. So if you want to be successful, what you need to do is demonstrate more discipline and better behaviors than you would find most people demonstrate when commenting on different threads that are over social media on a regular basis. You know, John Cormack once said, focus is a matter of deciding what things you're not going to do. Now, that couldn't be more true about what we're seeing today. A lot of people are getting distracted by things all over social media and in different areas without having the discipline to focus on what they need to do. But as with anything, these days there is more distraction than ever before. And yes, the pin might be going one way, it might be way over this way. But like with anything, when everyone is going in that direction, it presents opportunities for those that are able to focus and going in a different direction. There's more opportunities now presented because that is how the world is going. That's what's presented now. And you as a business owner have an opportunity to capitalize on this by focusing and becoming disciplined. So what I want to do is, in this video today, I want to give you a number of ways that you'll be able to start focusing right away on what needs to be done and focusing on progressing yourself and pushing yourself forward in the right type of way. So number one is to turn off all distractions. And that's, it's an easy thing to do. Get your phone, and when you're writing, when you're doing anything to do with your business, turn it off. If you're using the internet, for example, close all your tabs, close down the browsers you don't need, get off social media, restrict your time on social media to a certain time of the day, so you know that the rest of the day you're doing the stuff that you need to do, and then on that time that you've given yourself for social media and engaging in those conversations or having a look at the news or what's happening in the world, restrict that to a certain period of time and give yourself a limit as to when you're going to be doing that, and then don't break that limit, because if you do, you'll become unfocused, and then it'll lead to doing less work, becoming less capable at what you're doing, and getting distracted and focusing on the wrong things when you should be focusing on the right things that are going to push you forward. Also, your environment. Now, the environment is really important because there was an interesting thing I was actually listening to the other day, and I can't remember where I heard it. I think it was a podcast. And there was an interesting test they did. And this test was based on when someone was walking through in the environment of a supermarket and was looking for wine to purchase. What they did is they first of all went ahead and they actually played German music. And the people that were shopping in this supermarket, when they went in there and they heard this German music, they bought 2 times more German wine than they did French wine. And then they did the reverse, and they started playing French songs as people were shopping looking for wine. And what happened is people bought 5 times more French wine than they did the German wine. Now what that shows is that subconsciously we are affected by our environment. We're affected by things that are happening in our environment. And it's really important that when you sit yourself down, you put yourself in an environment where you're going to be affected for the positive. You're going to be affected in a positive way. And there's many ways of doing that. Some people go to cafes that they really like. Some people, lock themselves away in a quiet room and then work towards success. So others put up posters that show, goals or things that they want to achieve and they want to get. And subconsciously, it does have an impact, and it does affect your decisions, and it affects your ability to carry out what you're trying to carry out. So for me, I definitely like going to a cafe. I like listening to positive music, motivational things that get me in the right state of mind to do what I need to do. Now, the next point I'd like to make is that positivity can defeat procrastination. All of us go through the stage where we have doubts about our ability to do something, a certain task, become an expert in a certain area, work in a certain way. And what ends up happening is if we have those doubts and we have these negative voices that are in our head, what can happen is it can lead to procrastination. The best way to defeat that is to think positively, become a more positive person, and also listen to positive reinforcing music or positive reinforcing audio tapes. These are the types of things that will get you in the right state of mind in order to carry on your work and do it in such a way that you're going to be pushing towards your goals without becoming procrastinated because voices in your head are you saying it might be a bit difficult. And if you are having trouble with that, one of the books that I definitely recommend having a read is Psycho-Cybernetics. Now this is a book that was written by a guy who was he was in a position where he was a plastic surgeon. And he noticed that actually after doing some of the plastic surgery that he was doing, his clients were coming back and they were saying that they basically had the same issues with self-esteem, the same issues even after, say for example, their face had been changed. So they should be feeling more positive about their outlook. They should be feeling like, hey, they're a better person. But what was happening is that they were actually slipping back to the same issues that they had before they had actually got their surgery. So he looked into that, and this is a book compiled over what he learned and his study into what affects people's ability to basically how they view themselves and how they can become better at a certain task, become more positive. And this book will definitely help you to understand a bit more about that change and hopefully to view yourself and what you're doing in a more positive light and understand some of the things that are going on subconsciously and are going on in the background. So definitely it's worth taking a look at. Finish on this point, that it's natural to look at what other people are doing and think that you're progressing slower. And one of the things that I dealt with when I was getting started online and online marketing is that everything was taking me such a long time to happen. And I would see other marketers just doing things so effortlessly. And it looked like, hey, that person, they didn't need to spend that much time. Maybe it's something wrong with me. When in actual fact, I wasn't accounting for the fact that I was still learning. It's impossible to put some goals on things sometimes when it's something that's completely new to you and you need to learn a new skill. You need to learn how to do something you've never done before. So sometimes it does take time. But the key here is being consistent, doing those actions on a regular basis, overcoming what it was that you were working towards that you weren't so sure about, and then getting to that stage where you've completed that task and then you know it. And once you know it, you're able to complete it a lot faster and a lot more consistent. So sometimes it is frustrating, and I've gone through those same frustrations, but one of the things you need to do is just focus on the next step. What is the next step? What do I need to learn? Yes, it's taking me a bit of time. That's okay. It takes a bit of time sometimes to do these things. That's okay. I'm moving on and focusing on your progress, not what's happening out there, but again, what's happening with you and what steps you're taking that are leading you towards your goal, because everyone's different. Everyone has things that they're here to achieve, and you've just got to focus on what it is that you're doing in your life, what it is that is leading you to where you need to go, and doing those things step by step gradually. Even though sometimes it may take a lot more time than you expected it to, you'll eventually reach your destination if you continue to work towards it consistently. Cool, so I hope this helps with some of the focus issues you may have had. I hope this motivates you to get down and get some work done today and move towards your goals instead of becoming distracted, which is very easy to do. Everyone has the same struggles with that, but hopefully this encourages you to focus and do what you need to do in order to find success in what it is you're doing.